What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here with
Gershwan.
And today, we're back at it, answering your questions in another quarantined episode of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewers. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get those questions first. That is what that two guy did. He asks, if the Orks actually wipe out all of the other factions, would they establish peace? Or some kind of old ones programming? Or would they just fight each other endlessly? So that's kind of a good point. Like the prophet of the WAAAGH, the beast, WAAAGH, he is getting all his orcs riled up. And the idea is that they want to create Ragnarok, which is just a galaxy-wide big party of just brutal violence that the Greenskins enact. After they destroy all of the, hypothetically, I don't think this is going to happen, but if they would destroy all of the other races, then yes, they would just turn on themselves. I doubt that there is some type of programming within the orc mentality for them to, make peace.
You don't think that's a old one, like Krork type thing that'll kick into effect after the galaxy's been wiped clean? It's okay, they've self-destruct or whatever, and then the old ones come back?
No, just because we would have seen a portion of it, or we would have seen some semblance of it, and it just hasn't happened ever. So it's not like during the Krork there were X amount of Krork around. It's always been they've always been all about combat, and also the Krork are just, I think they're just another way of saying blood axe. Is it blood axes? I think it's blood axes. The military orcs. Mm-hmm. The military-minded orcs. So if they ever do take over the world, it's just going to be them fighting each other.
Do you think this will be some type of Khorne wins in a way? Because, they're fighting, it's endless war. It seems like that's all in Khorne's favor.
This would be really cool. This is a cool theory, and it would be really cool if this happened. After they defeat humanity, Tau, Eldar, everybody, the orcs are all alone, and God School obviously is still keeping order. There are, small skirmishes here and there between the different knobs or the different war bosses, but the warlord is always keeping order. And then Khorne decides to throw in or Tuska, the demon killer, out from the warp, and then it becomes God School versus Tuska, the demon killer. That would be cool. Red orcs versus green orcs. Just battling it out.
It's like a battle of Mountain Dew. Code Red versus Original.
Yeah.
Or Baja Blast.
So bust out your Doritos, guys.
Let's get it. Next question comes from Timothy Armstrong. He asks, why does the Sound Alchemist say he loses all battles on the tabletop against you?
I don't say that I lose. I actually do.
We rarely ever play 1v1 though. Mm-hmm. So I think we've only had 3 games where we've played against each other. Yeah. And depending on the edition, that's the person that's going to win. Mm-hmm. For example, 7th edition, you murdered my orcs.
Yeah. 8th edition, his orcs murdered me.
Have we played just you and me?
No, but I'm pretty sure that's how it'll go.
Yeah. But another reason, too, is I kind of do what you should do if you're playing. Because we never play 1 versus 1. We're either doing a free-for-all between 3 friends.
Or 4 sometimes.
Yeah, or the 4. And if it's the 4, usually that's fun. We never make it to the 5th turn because there's too many of us.
Yeah, it's usually all right, we're hungry. It's 7 o'clock. Let's go eat.
But also, so the other reason is because I usually just play, I hands off and then let them fight, and then at the end come in and sweep, which is what I think anybody should do.
Yeah. We play 40K strangely.
Yeah.
Which might be the reason why I lose so much, because I don't want to just sit back and wait for you guys, even though that is kind of how Tau should play. If you're playing a gun line, just wait for them to come to you and shoot them all down.
Yeah.
I want to go in there and actually see the combat.
Right.
So I shouldn't play Tau based on those tactics.
Next question.
This one is by Thomas Stingmore. If a Primarch returns and sees the Emperor as a skeleton vegetable, could that be enough of a reason for that Primarch to turn away from the Imperium? And which one would it be? No, I don't think so. seeing the father, the god emperor, well, the emperor, because they didn't see him as a god, in that state would fuel them more to make his dream a reality. I don't think any one Primarch would see him in that state and be like, yeah, I'm not following you, unless they're a traitor or have traitorous reasons. But yeah, any of the loyalist ones, I don't see that happening.
Right. And you got to remember that most of them knew that this was going to happen. They were there right after the Battle of Terra, and they saw him on the throne. So they knew, like, oh, this is not good.
Right.
And the reason a lot of the loyalist Primarchs left is because they're like, okay, we need to figure this out because our father is done. So, yeah.
Rich Mendelson. If there ever was to be a Warhammer movie or TV show displaying the Emperor, who would you want to play him or voice him if he was not shown directly? Who can do him justice? In my opinion, there's 3 people. Gilbert Gottfried, Danny DeVito, or Bridget B.
I would hope that it's Danny DeVito just because I feel like he is more aggressive in the way that he speaks, whereas Gilbert Gottfried is more of a like you might be able to follow him, but you don't really have to. Or as Danny DeVito, like you have to follow what he said.
Yeah, I mean, just look at his performance in Jumanji too.
He was in Jumanji too. I didn't know that.
The newest one.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, Bridget B as the Emperor would be very tantalizing.
Yeah, you should check out her performances. They're very tantalizing, like you said.
If it was just his voice, just black screen and just listen to Bridget B, that'll still, I'm pretty sure she'd be able to rouse up some followers like the Emperor did.
Yep.
She can slay my dragon.
Next question comes from Tyler Flynn. Who is the oldest Space Marine that remembers the early days of the Great Crusade?
I know Bjorn for sure, Dante, Miguelito, Chad.
Yeah, for sure. Next question comes from Mr. Perfect. Gersh, Sound, do you have coronavirus? Because you don't look so good. Worried fan. He's a worried fan. Did we already answer this one? I can't remember.
I don't remember if we did, but if we didn't, it's not the virus affecting us. It's depression.
Next question.
This one's by WAAAGH. Is it possible for any faction in the Imperium to gain control? If yes, could it be the Orks or the Emperor ending up controlling it?
Not over the entire galaxy, but they can gain control of certain battles, campaigns, or planets.
Yeah. And I feel like the way the universe, or at least the galaxy is, I don't think there's a means for a single force to take the whole galaxy and keep it for very long. Because the men, the supplies, it's all so taxing when you're being attacked on all sides, all fronts, that eventually power will continue to shift. Kind of like in the Warp, where no one Chaos God has complete control. It's always a wheel that keeps on turning.
Yep, Chaos.
Like Game of Thrones. This one's by Thomas Stingamore. Could you ever get a freak mutant orc? Wouldn't their spore-based reproductive cycle give birth to all sorts of breeds and strains of orcs?
No, the orc spore is actually really good at getting rid of genetic flaws. The old ones did a really good job. That's not to say that it doesn't happen. It has had.
That's a genetic mutation right there.
When that does happen, the orcs kill it. So if you get a orc that's a little bit off, the other orcs are gonna just through aggression.
Yeah, be like, oh, you're not the strong one.
Yeah, beat his ass. Same thing with chaos. So if a chaos corrupted orc shows up, the regular orcs are gonna be like, "That's not my orc," and
that's not my orc.
Yeah. Bop it in the head. Next question comes from Odin, God of Wisden. Can you field multiple HQ choices in a single army, or if you're doing double games, have 2 HQs in a single army, for example?
Yeah, it's called going unbound. You don't get any command points for it, but you can play whatever you want.
Even if you don't go unbound, though. So Battleforge allows you for 3 HQ choices, I believe. It's either 2 or 3. Because what I do, I'm an Ork player, and I just fill them up with, Big Mac with custom shooters, a must, and then weird boys.
Yeah, 2 weird boys.
And they're all HQ choices. I think even mechs might be HQ choices if they're not elite. I can't remember. Next one.
This one is by Zellsworth X. Could you guys touch on the Gods of Mars trilogy? Why has it not really influenced the main storyline?
Need to read it.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that, but anything that has to do with the AdMech should be really important because they have a lot to do with the Imperium. So if there's a lot going on there and it's not affecting the universe, maybe it got retconned, maybe it's just they gave complete freedom to the writers, and the direction that GW is going may not coincide with that, so that's why they're kind of just like pushing it off to the side.
Yep. Next question. This one comes from Starfighter Pero. Is there any interbreeding in the Imperium, maybe to accentuate some genes, and this is their eugenics to develop the human race? Yes. It's frowned upon, and it's heretical, but yes, there are renegade planets that do things like this. That's like the theory of how the Beastmen came about.
I wonder what they were doing.
Yeah, they were breeding with something.
This one's by Lethargic Goblin. Is my username a mouthful? No, I said it pretty easy.
Does it?
I guess. I don't know. You got one?
Yeah, next question comes from Kyle Elise. What sci-fi or fantasy creature besides the Rancor do you wish was real?
So, in the previous Creator Wars, Gershwin said that the Rancor was his favorite Star Wars creature.
For show.
I could see why. But when it comes to like creatures, I really like the Loch Ness Monster. That was like always my thing. Like during middle school, I'd read up on him, watch all the Discovery, shows on it. But I don't know. Do cryptids count as fantasy or sci-fi?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think if anything, it would be sci-fi.
So then, yeah, that would be my sci-fi choice. When it comes to fantasy, the Kraken. Because again, like the whole theory, well, it's not a theory, it's been proven. The whole battle between like sperm whales and like giant squid was so cool. Having Krakens would just like be even greater.
Yeah. For me, I think in the realm of sci-fi, that sex robot from Rick and Morty, I wish that was a reality.
It might be if you've got the right moolah.
Well, but it has to be alien, and it has to give birth to that four-handed
oh,
thing.
Yeah, that's true.
And then as far as fantasy, dragons, probably. I think dragons would be kind of cool. Wise old dragons.
You think if hobbits were real, like they'd be discriminated against?
Probably. Because I think in the books they're kind of slow. This is a fictional character, by the way. Next question.
This one is by Revent666. Is it possible for Necrons to fall to chaos? And if so, have any done that? No. Your average run-of-the-mill Necron warrior is mindless. He's just a bucket of living metal that has been programmed to follow the directives of the Dynasty and the Necron Lord.
True that.
However, Necron Lords do have a sentience. They have their own personalities, their own goals. However, I don't think any has been corrupted by chaos.
Not yet.
Yet. That's a key word right there.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see that happening. Since they are known to ally with others, such as when the Necrons and the Blood Angels allied together, I could definitely see a Necron Lord using chaos powers to like further his agenda and then get like backstabbed at the end, or maybe he backstabs the god. It'd be interesting to see how that plays out.
For sure. Those are the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. These questions were fun.
Yeah, you guys are fun.
Yeah, you guys come up with some good stuff. The quarantine is looking good on you guys.
It's making your questions more creative.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, stay safe. And as always, this is the Sound Alchemist.
Gershwin.
And we are out.